Hello, this is Miss Hanley, and today we're going to learn about solving inequalities. And we're going to start with some basic inequalities as a refresher, and then we're going to work our way into solving compound inequalities. So behind me on the board, you can see that there's a problem involving some very simple inequalities, and when we answer those, we will figure out some different facts about Carlos Montezuma. So the first thing to remember is that when we do inequalities, there were a few rules. Essentially, it's the same solving an inequality as it would be solving an equation. So you're always trying to do the opposite to isolate the variable. We do have to remember that when you multiply or divide by a negative, you always have to flip or switch your inequality sign. So and that does get confusing, but when I say flip sign, I'm talking about my inequality sign, not the negative or positive sign. So for example, if we look at number 1, we have negative 2k is greater than 10. So negative 2k is greater than 10. If I were to solve for my variable, I have to get rid of negative 2, and if it's being multiplied, we are dividing. Now right here, you can see that I'm dividing by a negative. So when I simplify my answer, I'm just left with k, and then instead of a greater than, I want a less than, and 10 divided by negative 2 would give me a negative 5. So that would be my official answer. We always want to strive for a variable on the left, and in this case we have that already. You can also put it into set builder notation. So remember, all real numbers, in this case it's k, such that k is less than negative 5 in close parentheses. Alright, so that's one way that we can solve inequalities. Just remember that rule: when you multiply or divide by a negative, you are switching your sign. Also, for number 2, it's a little different setup. We have 5 is greater than or equal to r minus 9. Well, in this case, what's happening to our variable is subtraction. So I want to do the opposite, and I want to add 9 to both sides. So when you get your answer, we end up with 14 greater than or equal to r. Now, we didn't divide by a negative or multiply, so we didn't have to do any sign switching. We just now want to flip it so that my variable is on the left, and when you flip it, you're flipping everything. So r goes on the left, greater than or equal to becomes less than or equal to, and then we have our 14. And of course, you can use set builder notation if you would like to. Alright, everything else is fairly straightforward. All the solving equations steps that you would take is the same for solving inequality.